You think you're buying your children a magical core memory, but you're actually walking into a beautifully manufactured financial death trap. The pixie dust is crushed glass. Your parental love has been weaponized. Keep watching before this billion-dollar psychological operation secretly destroys your family's future. Listen closely. Behind the exploding fireworks, the twinkling castle lights, and the aggressively cheerful melodies of your childhood, there is a sound they desperately want to drown out. It is the muffled, suffocating sob of a mother staring at a credit card statement that stretches out like a financial death warrant. It is the humiliating beep of a father's card declining at a churro stand, the cold sweat pooling at the base of his neck while his children watch. It is the hollow, terrified laughter of a 20-something who just signed away their next 5 years on a high-interest loan just to take a selfie with a giant mouse. The magic is a lie, and the pixie dust you are choking on is actually crushed glass. At Credit Card Payoff Plan US warmly welcomes you to reality, the barren wasteland where the fairy tales abruptly end and the collection calls begin. If you are brave enough to open your eyes and face the brutal truth that can actually save your family's future, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel right now. Your support is the lifeblood that motivates me to keep tearing down these financial illusions and delivering the hard-hitting truths you need to hear. I am not here to coddle your feelings today. I am speaking to you as someone who grew up mesmerized by a scratched Lion King VHS tape, someone who once viewed those towering Cinderella spires as the ultimate sanctuary of childhood innocence. But today, I sit before you not as a dreamer, but as your financial best friend, the one who loves you enough to slap you awake. We are currently living through a silent, devastating pandemic that is far more lethal to your future than any virus: the romanticization of financial self-destruction. The line between treating yourself and digging your own financial grave has never been more terrifyingly thin. You scroll through your feed and see your neighbors beaming under the Magic Kingdom fireworks, capturing the perfect smiles of their oblivious children. But what the camera conveniently crops out is the sheer paralyzing terror in that father's eyes when the bank notification hits his phone. The glittering reality behind those sequined mouse ears is a mountain of suffocating debt, a fatal liquidity blood clot that is silently exterminating the financial lifelines of millions of middle-class families. They call it weaponized nostalgia, and it is a masterpiece of psychological manipulation. These monolithic entertainment empires are no longer selling you a theme park ticket. They are peddling a counterfeit time machine, a desperate, overpriced escape hatch from the jaws of inflation. Our social media ecosystems have been engineered into ruthless dopamine pumps, brainwashing you into a YOLO lifestyle and whispering the venomous lie that you are a failure of a parent if you do not buy these fleeting moments. They weaponize your deepest insecurities, stealing your financial oxygen to inflate their quarterly earnings. You are purchasing a 4-day illusion, but you are paying for it with 4 years of grueling, compound interest servitude. That is not magic. That is a life sentence. To understand how we willingly walk into this invisible prison, we have to examine the absolute masterclass in emotional extortion being played against us every single day. You are not just fighting a marketing department. You are fighting a billion-dollar psychological operation designed to weaponize your deepest parental instinct, the desperate, primal desire to give your child a better life than you had. They have successfully convinced an entire generation of parents that if you do not mortgage your future to provide these highly specific, heavily branded core memories, you are fundamentally failing at your job as a provider. It is a beautifully manufactured guilt trip. They look you in the eye and tell you that the window of childhood is closing, that your kids are only little once, and that if you miss this fleeting opportunity to see their eyes light up at a parade, you will regret it until the day you die. This is not marketing. It is emotional terrorism. We are constantly told to invest in experiences over things, a beautiful sentiment that has been hijacked and mutated by corporate conglomerates to justify charging you the equivalent of a down payment on a house for a long weekend in Central Florida. You log into Instagram and see a curated feed of agonizing perfection, matching custom t-shirts, VIP line-skipping passes, and extravagant character dining. What you do not see is the exhaustion, the meltdowns, and the agonizing mental math happening in real time as parents try to figure out which credit card has enough available balance to cover an $80 breakfast. The industry has commodified the very concept of parental love, packaging it into tiered pricing models and lightning lanes. They have made you believe that the quality of your family's bond is directly proportional to the amount of money you are willing to hemorrhage inside their gates. And the most tragic part is that we aggressively defend this system. We fiercely protect the very corporations that are systematically draining our generational wealth, repeating their slogans like mantras to justify our empty bank accounts. We tell ourselves it is all worth it for the memories, willfully ignoring the fact that those memories will eventually fade, leaving behind a toxic residue of financial anxiety that will haunt our households for years to come. But that fleeting magic window of childhood is exactly where the financial bear trap snaps shut on your future, locking you into a cycle of debt that outlives the memory itself. Let us strip away the pixie dust for a second and look at the grotesque financial anatomy of a modern theme park vacation. You swipe that piece of plastic for a $5,000 trip, convincing yourself that you will just figure out how to pay it off when you get back to reality. But you are not just spending $5,000. At a 24% annual percentage rate, making only the minimum monthly payments, that magical family getaway will actually cost you nearly $10,000 and take over a decade to clear. Your child will be taking their SATs, and you will still be paying off a synthetic princess dress they outgrew before they reached the second grade. That is the brutal, unforgiving reality of compound interest. It is a silent predator that does not sleep, does not take vacations, and certainly does not care about the magical moments you captured on your smartphone. We have normalized a culture where utilizing buy now, pay later services for a churro or a souvenir mug is just considered par for the course. We are actively chopping our financial futures into 4 easy, suffocating installments. Every single time you tap that card, you are borrowing money from your own retirement, stealing from your child's future college fund, and sacrificing your long-term peace of mind on the altar of immediate gratification. The credit card companies and the entertainment monopolies are locked in a symbiotic relationship, feeding off your desperate desire to provide a fairy tale life. They throw you a branded credit card with a sign-up bonus, dangling a fraction of a discount while burying the predatory interest rates deep in the fine print. You think you are hacking the system by earning reward points, but you are merely picking up pennies in front of a steamroller. You are trading tangible, long-term security for a temporary dopamine hit that evaporates the moment you board the flight back home. When that interest begins to compound, it does not just quietly eat your money. It actively devours the very family peace you were trying so desperately to cultivate. This is the darkest, most unspoken irony of the fairy tale fatality. You willingly go into debt to create a beautiful memory for your children, but the ensuing financial stress creates a toxic environment that poisons their actual day-to-day reality. Children are incredibly perceptive barometers of their environment. They might not understand what a variable interest rate is, but they can physically feel the heavy, suffocating tension that fills the kitchen when the mail arrives. They hear the hushed, venomous arguments behind closed bedroom doors late at night. They sense the deep exhaustion in their mother's sighs and the short-tempered snapping of a father who is working 60 hours a week just to keep the minimum payments from drowning them entirely. You bought them a weekend of manufactured magic, but you paid for it with years of a stressed, emotionally unavailable version of yourself. What good is a beautifully framed photograph in front of a castle if the parents in that picture spend the next 5 years silently resenting each other over the cost of the frame? The ultimate betrayal of this culture of financial self-destruction is that it genuinely convinces you that you are sacrificing for your family, when in reality, you are sacrificing your family's stability for a corporation's bottom line. The home should be a sanctuary, a place of safety and predictable comfort. Instead, the relentless pressure to maintain the illusion of middle-class prosperity transforms the home into a pressure cooker of financial terror. Every unexpected expense, a flat tire, a medical copay, a broken refrigerator, becomes an existential crisis because there is absolutely no margin for error left in the budget. The fairy tale vacation effectively hollows out your family's resilience, leaving you completely exposed to the unforgiving realities of life. You traded a solid fortress of financial security for a cardboard castle, and the moment the wind blows, your entire family is left standing in the wreckage. Breaking free from this manufactured matrix requires a radical, unapologetic redefinition of what it actually means to give your children a good life. The antidote to this financial poison is stepping completely out of the comparison game and realizing that you do not have to buy your children's love, nor do you have to prove your worth as a parent to a bunch of strangers on the internet. True magic is not found in a crowded, overpriced theme park line. It is found in the quiet, unscripted moments of everyday life. It is pitching a cheap tent in the backyard, making pancakes on a lazy Saturday morning, and being fully, emotionally present because your mind is not paralyzed by the fear of impending debt collection. The greatest, most profound gift you can ever give your child is a financially stable parent. A parent who is not buckling under the weight of consumer debt is a parent who actually has the energy to listen, the patience to teach, and the peace of mind to simply exist in the moment without a ticking clock of anxiety in their head. Waking up from this nightmare means looking at your credit card statements with brutal honesty and making the agonizing choice to say no to the fleeting illusions of today so you can say yes to the generational freedom of tomorrow. It means having the courage to look your kids in the eye and tell them that you cannot afford a luxury vacation, effectively teaching them a masterclass in financial boundary setting that no school will ever provide. It is time to stop funding the empires that thrive on your insecurity and start building your own family's financial fortress. Take control of your money, starve the debt machine, and aggressively reclaim the peace that they have stolen from you. If this message struck a nerve, if you are finally ready to step out of the illusion and into the reality of building true wealth, leave a comment below and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. The fairy tale is over, but your real life, your free, unburdened, financially secure life is just beginning to be written. The modern parenting landscape has been hijacked by a relentless, multi-billion-dollar marketing machine that equates parental love with exorbitant spending. By weaponizing the natural desire to create magical childhood memories, corporations trap families in devastating cycles of consumer debt. We are sold the illusion that thousands of dollars charged to high-interest credit cards for a theme park vacation will secure our children's happiness. However, the exact opposite is true. The temporary dopamine hit of a highly curated, heavily branded trip quickly fades, leaving behind crippling financial anxiety that poisons the everyday atmosphere of the home. Children do not thrive on the stress, resentment, and exhaustion of parents who are working themselves to the bone to pay off manufactured memories. Instead of providing a fairy tale, this debt-fueled lifestyle hollows out a family's financial resilience, leaving them vulnerable to life's inevitable emergencies. The ultimate realization is that true wealth and family happiness cannot be bought on an installment plan. Breaking free from this toxic cycle requires rejecting the societal pressure to perform for social media and redefining what a good life looks like. The most valuable inheritance you can pass down to your children is not a photo album of overpriced vacations, but the presence of a calm, financially stable, and emotionally available parent. Reclaiming your peace means choosing long-term security over short-term gratification, and building a fortress of stability that no corporation can exploit. The deepest lesson here is that genuine human connection requires emotional presence, not financial expenditure. Corporations profit off your insecurities by convincing you that debt is a necessary tool for family bonding. In reality, children are highly sensitive barometers of their home environment. They value a stable, happy, and fully engaged parent far more than a stressed, indebted one offering a luxurious but fleeting experience. Financial peace is the absolute foundation of emotional peace in any household. Audit your emotional spending. Review your budget and identify purchases driven by parental guilt or social media comparison. Stop letting curated internet feeds dictate your family's financial reality. Embrace the power of no. Normalize telling your children that certain luxury experiences are simply not in the budget. You are not depriving them. You are teaching them an invaluable masterclass in financial boundaries and delayed gratification. Manufacture unbranded magic. Shift your focus from expensive, tiered pricing trips to simple, everyday moments. Pitch a tent in the living room, have a picnic at a local park, or cook a meal together. These low-cost activities build lasting bonds without the suffocating hangover of compound interest. Prioritize the fortress. Redirect the money you would have spent on a heavily financed vacation into building an emergency fund or paying off consumer debt. A solid financial safety net provides a level of daily comfort and psychological safety that no theme park ever could. What is one of your favorite low-cost or completely free childhood memories that still brings you joy today? Please take a moment to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments section below so our community can read, relate, and get inspired by your perspective. If you found value in this message and want to continue building your family's financial fortress, please hit the subscribe button to support the channel and give us the motivation to keep creating more impactful content for you.